Hey guys, Akil here, and welcome back to another episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. Today's subject is going to be doing too much too quickly. And the idea just popped in my head literally about 5 minutes ago, thanks to a series of Instagram stories, right? A trader that I'm working with just shot me a Instagram story series, which is, if you're unfamiliar, it's like little short video clips updating me on his journey. He was saying, hey, Akil, I'm going through the process and here is something that I'm worried about struggling with. And I shot him a message back and I said, hey man, that is a great idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into a podcast subject because, believe it or not, you're not the only one that is having this issue or having this thought about future issues. And it makes me excited because this was the whole reason I started the podcast, right? You guys know I'm all over social media, right? I work with a lot of traders on the main platform as well, obviously my clients and whatnot, but I'm all over social media. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, I'm on the Twitter, and each and every day I get a handful of questions from different traders. And every time I do that, I respond because I just believe in when people take the time to ask you a question, you should respond. But I got not sick and tired, but I started thinking, what if instead of responding to traders individually, I took these subjects, because you know you're not the only one, or this specific trader isn't the only one that's going through this. What if I took those subjects and I was able to put it in a place where I can reach more, kind of like a central hub where traders can come and hopefully get their questions answered. And that was the goal behind the Trading Coach Podcast. I think we're doing a pretty darn good job of that so far. But this question reminded me of that, and this is the perfect response to it. And what the trader asked me was, well, I'll take you through the story. Give me a second. I'm going to take a swig of my coffee. This is unprofessional. Never want to be a professional podcaster. So this, give me a second. Oh, that's good. Oh, that is good. So the trader sent me a series of stories on Instagram, updating me on his journey. He said, hey, Akil, first and foremost, you're an awesome coach, loving the platform. This trader has experience in trading, so he's not 100% completely new, but like many traders, he's reached a point where he realized that something isn't working, I need to start over. And he said he's going through the stuff. He likes kind of the back to the basics approach that I take, where we start off just focusing on price action and we can add all of the bells and whistles later. And he says that I want to apologize that it's taken me so long to go through the course material, but I'm really doing what you tell me to. And what he means by that is, right, we have about 7 training courses at the moment of recording this. I'm actually going to work on one this weekend as soon as I hit the road, but we have about 7 training courses, starting from the very beginning, like what is a pip, what is spread, to the more advanced stuff where, developing a trading plan, money management, all that fun stuff. And it's a lot of content. And to a newer trader, it's typically like being a kid on Christmas, right? You rush downstairs, you see the Christmas tree has all the lights glistening and shining, and there's a whole bunch of presents underneath. And the first thing you want to do is you want to rip open all the presents, and you open up present number 1, you find the toy, you play with it for like 5 minutes, and you go to the next present. And throughout the day, you've played with all of the presents, right? That's all fun and games if you're a kid playing with presents. However, when you do that with education, what happens is, you try to roll through 7 full courses in about a weekend. What happens is you feel accomplished because maybe you got through the course material, but you don't actually retain anything, meaning that you learn a lot, or I guess you don't learn a lot. You hear and you think you hear, you see, and you think you learn a lot, but you don't really keep any of it. None of it sticks. And one of the things that I do at the end of my training lessons, or at each kind of like segment inside a training course, is I say, hey guys, now that we learned this, I want you to immediately hit the chart. Spend 20 to 30 minutes on the chart, scrolling through and practicing what we just learned. And my goal is to have you take the knowledge that you just learned and immediately start working on it. And when you do that, you retain a lot more information. That could be the difference between retaining 10% of what you hear and see versus retaining 70 to 80% of what you hear and see. And that's very, very, very important, because each training lesson builds on the next. Meaning if you're at training lesson number 1, right, training lesson number 2 is going to be confusing if you didn't master 1. Training lesson number 3 is going to be confusing if you don't master 2 and 1, right? It all builds on each other. Think of it like building a house. You start with your foundation and you build up from there. So When the trader said he's taken a long time to go through the course because he's actually putting time into the charts, and obviously he's got his regular job and whatnot and family to deal with. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because although it may seem like you're wasting a lot of time on the front end, you're actually going to gain time on the back end. And I'm sure I shared this story with you before, but one of the biggest mistakes I made in my trading was the fact that I rushed through it. I went through and rushed through with the mindset of not learning how to trade, but learning what to trade, right? So not how the market moves, but looking for a strategy. And I did that for about a year until I finally realized that I didn't really know anything about trading. I didn't know anything about price action. I didn't really know anything about technical analysis. So after a year of wasting time, I had to go all the way back and start all over, which kind of stretched my learning process out to 2 years when I probably could have done it in about, 9 months. So although it seems like this trader may be wasting time right now, right, he's going through it the right way. He's going through the process the right way. And hopefully he won't need to go back and revisit anything in the future. But he says, here's the fear. He says, I like the approach. He's been sharing with me charts and videos on like price action and the basics of just how to read a price chart, because everything stems from that. He likes the approach. What he's worried about, however, is that eventually he's going to overwhelm himself and he's going to make things more difficult than they need to be. And here's what I mean. So he's on what we call the foundation course, which is the second course in our series, right? It's a study of price action. And he's kind of peeking into the next couple courses and stuff like advanced pattern formations, complex patterns, stuff like FTB, more specific strategies. And he's worried that, hey, I have a good grasp over price action right now. He said he had a couple winning trades that were good. Nothing too big, right? No like 300 pip winner, no internet worthy stuff, right? Nothing that's going to get you 100 likes on the gram, but steady, consistent wins, right? 20 pips here, 30 pips there. I think he had about eight winners like that, which is, my philosophy is, hey, you don't need the big winners, slow and steady. You compound that and, believe before you know it, you'll have a very successful trading career. But he's worried that as he goes on to learn, he's going to start overcomplicating things. Meaning that he's going to start going back to the struggles of what he used to do, where you see moving average crosses and Bollinger Bands and this and that, and you try to use each and everything together. And before you know it, you either have paralysis by analysis, meaning that you see so much on your chart that you actually don't do anything, or you end up sabotaging your trading plan because you add too much filters or add too many things that you need in order to take the trade. And obviously, it's going to be up to the trader whether this happens or not. You control your destiny, right? You control what path you're going to take. What you'll find is that once you truly master how to read a price chart, everything else ends up being like a bonus. So think about it like this, right? So the base knowledge, right? Reading a price chart, that is like the cupcake part of the cupcake, right? No matter what you're going to go on to trade, if you're going to be a chartist, if you're going to use, you got to know what a candle means. You got to know high momentum candles, low momentum candles, indecision candles, bull trend, bear trend, consolidation, all that stuff, bull rotation, bear rotation, violation, confirmation. You need to know that stuff no matter what you're going to trade, whether you're going to be a trend trader, a counter trend trader, even if you're going to create a mechanical system, right? Because mechanical systems, most of them at least, are momentum-based systems, and momentum comes from trending moves. So you have to know how to identify a trend, what a trend looks like in order to program your indicators to pick it up. But once you know that, once you are confident and have a firm understanding of price action, right, which is the cupcake part of your cupcake, everything else is the icing. And what I mean by that, it's going to be up to you how much you put on there. You could put a single layer of vanilla icing on that cupcake. I mean, you can add one type of filter, right? I'm going to be a price action trader that maybe uses an RSI for confirmation. You could add multiple layers. You can add chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, right? Make it the trifecta, where you're a price action trader that uses the RSI, but you also watch for Bollinger Band bounces and moving average crosses. And it's really going to be up to you to find what complements your trading style without complicating your trading style, right? Does that make sense? You want to find what complements it, meaning I use an RSI, right? I'm mainly a counter trend trader at heart. And even in my trend continuation trading, I take a counter trend approach. I don't buy breakouts, I buy pullbacks, right? I buy the dip, right? BTFD, right? I buy the frickin' dip. So because of that, I'm looking for areas where the market becomes exhausted, where the market becomes overextended. So I choose to use an indicator, the RSI, that shows me, right, momentum. It shows me overbought and oversold periods. It shows me divergences in the market. I use it because it complements what I'm already looking for in the market, right? For me, a moving average wouldn't make sense because I'm not looking to involve myself in trending situations after the market's already in trend. I know it's hard to visualize that just by the podcast, but think about it like this. Like, so I'm not trying to buy as the market, as the specific candle is going up. Let's say that. I like to buy in uptrends, but I like to buy on the pullback part of that. And hopefully you guys know what I mean. But I guess the point is everything, whatever you go on to learn, you're gonna have to use filters of what may complement your system and what may not. But everything you go on to learn after the basics, right? You're going to have to ask yourself, does this work with my overall philosophy on the markets, right? Am I just adding this because it's something bright and shiny that I want to add, or am I adding it because it actually goes with what I want to do? And I think the first thing you need to decide as a trader is, what type of trader do I want to be? What do I want to look for? Am I a counter trend trader that looks for support and resistance? Am I a trend continuation trader? Am I a breakout trader? And once you have that philosophy of what type of trader you are, then you can match the system, the indicator, whatever it is you want to add. Then you can add it to that as a complement, right? So again, we'll end it on this note. Find something right after you master the basics. Find something that complements your trading, not something that complicates your trading. Because if you complicate your trading, you're going to end up going back to square one and starting from scratch and probably wasting a lot of time when doing so.